Growing up reading Silver Surfer and Thanos comics, never so torn when Josh Brolin portrayed him in the MCU, because I felt they did a phenomenal job. But if you're like me, you know that the storyline greatly veered from the comics. For example, they weren't Infinity Stones, they were Infinity Gems. In the comics, Thanos didn't want to wipe out half the population to simply balance the universe. He did it for the same reason we all do stupid things, for a woman. But they did get his ballsack chin right, which is kind of nice. Now, I've owned 5 other Thanos statues, and this custom has a concept like none other. That's what we're going to check out today. And for sure, his ballsack chin. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Welcome to the Extreme channel. Today we're looking at a custom 1/4 scale Thanos and Lady Death statue. So as I said in the intro, if you're not familiar with Thanos in the comics, he has a lot of similarities to the Thanos of the MCU as portrayed by Josh Brolin. He still sought out all the Infinity Gems which created the universe. He wanted to kill half of the universe's population, but he wanted to do it for a woman, Lady Death. So Lady Death was his mistress, the one he pined after, and she obviously loved death, hence her name Lady Death. So he always wanted to please her. They actually came out with the story Thanos Wins most recently, where he went to the extreme and killed almost everybody just to please Lady Death. So I wish they would have incorporated that into the MCU, because to me, I think it's such an amazing story. And it's the classic plunder of all time, men doing something really, really stupid for the love of a woman. Now, what's really cool about this custom statue is it's incredibly rare. Custom means it's a private unlicensed commission. Marvel did not sign off on this. And like I said, this tells a story like none other. Now, while being very transparent with you, I don't think it competes with statues like this Thanos and Lady Death from XM Studios. This one is meant to be very different, not only from the fact that this is more comic-based, where that's kind of a realistic twist, but like I said, the amazing story that this tells. So let's check that out. Starting with concept of this piece, which is what really, really nails this. So the concept of this actually has a lot of layers, and I don't mean just starting here on the bottom of the base. Here at the base, you have all of these fallen heroes. We see Spider-Man and Adam Warlock and Thor, and probably some other ones I don't know. They're actually buried underneath Thanos, where Thanos has actually destroyed him. And what's really cool, the top of this base is actually the story of the Infinity Stones. Now, part of it's covered up by obviously the characters standing on it, but that is so incredibly cool. And most people even miss that. So before we even get to the main characters, there are Easter eggs everywhere. So as we move up, we see Lady Death hugging Thanos. Now, you don't have to display Lady Death. We'll talk about that in design. And Thanos is there very victorious, because more than anything, he wants the love of Lady Death. And he now has it. She is hugging him, most likely because he finally got all the Infinity Gems, and he may be performing a snap. While he's not doing it in this picture right here, there are some display options he can. So he's creating death for his lady. He's victorious. He's the most powerful being in the world now that he has the gauntlet. So it's a very big, triumphant victory pose. It's also one that tells a story of these two crazy lovers together. Their relationship is so toxic, which one would expect with a mad titan and a lady of death. But I think this does such a good job giving that snapshot of that amazing story of the Infinity Gauntlet, of Thanos, of Lady Death. Amazing, amazing concept here. I think it's a 5 out of 5. It's probably the best concept of a Thanos statue, pretty arguably here. Now, design, they did some cool display options and some light up features. But before we look at those, here is the unboxing and assembly. 2 1/4 scale characters. I thought the box would be bigger. I was surprised how small it was.
That's what she said.
Nice little art box in the pose of the statue. It was your white foam, which this studio seems to use that quite a bit. Had straps. Everything was secured well. The first layer had Thanos, the 2 Infinity Gauntlets, and the light up feature, as well as the base replacement that we'll look at in a second. And the second layer had the base, Lady Death, all of her different portraits we'll look at as well. You can see it right here. All right, we're going to measure him first. Now, this is one thing I think they're a little bit off. I think it's a little smaller than 1/4 scale. Thanos is a large guy, so the base is about 14 inches in diameter, which is nice because it doesn't take up a lot of room. The tallest part is probably his hand, is just under 28 inches. Thanos is 19 inches or so, which only puts him at 6'4". Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is supposed to be 1/5 scale, but that seems too big as well. Lady Death, I'm not quite sure on her height. So I actually just Googled it. He is actually 6'7". So we're about 4% off on the height. So I guess 1/4 scale is accurate. Now in the MCU, he was like 8 foot tall, but in the comics, he was 6'7", and this is portraying him as 6'4", 6'5". So I think that's pretty close. Now, as I said, there are a number of different display options. If you didn't want Lady Death with him, so here's what he looks like with Lady Death. You can actually remove Lady Death, as you see right here. And then you also get to take advantage of that full base. They have a plate cover here where you can really see the story of the Infinity Stones. Now Thanos has two different Infinity Gauntlets. One where he's kind of holding it victorious, the one you've been looking at, and I really like this. And then of course you have to have the switch out where he is snapping. And both of them have a light up feature. See, there's a little flashlight on the inside. And this is what it looks like when you light it up. Now, not very bright, but still kind of a cool Easter egg. Lady Death has 4 portraits. First one right here is a skull, because she is Lady Death, and she is depicted like this sometimes. Next one is a half skull, half normal face. Then another one is her normal face looking forward. Then the last one is her normal face, but she's looking down. Now with this one, this one, to me, she's really loving on Thanos. She loves where she's at. She's not posing for a picture. She's enjoying the comfort of her lover. So some cool display options here. Thanos only has 1 portrait. We'll look at that close with the paint and sculpt. Design, everything fit really well. I like the different switch out options. I'm really digging his pose. I think it's done really well. If you guys have followed the channel for a while, you know I think pose is the most important thing in a statue. So I think the design is a 5 out of 5 on this. I really can't find anything I would improve. The light up feature, I guess, could have been better, but I don't really care for light up features too much. Paint and sculpt, some of it's good, some of it's not as good. So let's take a look at that. Now at the base here, like I said, I like what they did with the Easter eggs, you know, the Warlock staff, Thor's hammer. I think that's pretty cool. Regarding the paint and sculpt though, the little trim you have on the bottom looks fine. Normally I don't kind of like that, but like I said, it matches both of them. I think the dirt surface area looks good. It doesn't look great. I would have liked to see a little bit more texture. There is some breakage like in the rocks here. And I think the coloring they chose is good. It's a really light brown, which helps contrast the rest of the darker statue. The skeletons below, they are, initially when I was looking at them, like these are a little bit too big. I think they're accurate size. They're a little bit smaller than Thanos, obviously bigger than Lady Death. I have seen better painted bones on a statue, so I think that's a little bit of a miss. But it's just overall, I think that's a Spidey one right there. It is. There's a Spidey Easter egg I didn't even know about earlier. But overall, the concept just really overshadows kind of the negative things about the paint and sculpt. And I wouldn't say they're negative, they're just not as good as some of the other parts of the statue. Now, this part of the base looks phenomenal. I love how it's cracked. I love all the intricate detail. And you're going to see some similar comments in Lady Death's outfit here. But they did a really nice job. I can't imagine printing this. It must have taken forever. And there really aren't too many flaws, so that's pretty incredible. Kind of a darker brown, black, gray tone on top. And like I said, it contrasts really well, but doesn't go fully black like Lady Death, her outfit. Which if we dive into that, look at this intricate swirl design all over. That is absolutely incredible. And I love the flow of this dress. It really looks like what a fabric dress would do. Maybe not at the bottom where it's popping back up, but the contours of her body, the folds in it, look pretty damn cool. And the same thing can be said about her belt here. Again, fully sculpted, doesn't look like it's fully sculpted. And that's the goal when you make a sculpted outfit, to make it look like it's actually fabric. Regarding Lady Death herself, let's look at one of the full portraits here. It looks okay. I think there could have been more detail in her face. She's very plain, but keep in mind she was on the two-dimensional comic page as well. So if you're following off that, this is pretty accurate. The skull is kind of a nice tribute on top there. And then even the skeleton here, similar to the skeletons below, very plain. I think I would have liked to see maybe more depth in the paint. But again, that hood, look at that, the stitching on the back. That's really, really impressive, honestly. And her skin right here, a lot of similar comments about her face. There's not really a lot of depth in the paint. It's very plain. Her skin is very smooth, but then again, she's a mythical creature. She's not necessarily humanoid, even though she's a humanoid form. Now, the Mad Titan himself, I think he looks very good. I think the anatomy is perfect for him. He's very strong. He's bulky, but not overly bulky, which is exactly how you want him. And there's a stark, a very subtle blue contrast between like the textured outfit on his leg and then kind of this matted leather part on the front. And then the gold accents both on his boots and the trim on his clothes and his gauntlets and whatnot really accent that. I mean, they really make it stand out. Then his armor shoulder pads right here, they're not as bright. So again, it just flows very well. And again, I keep saying again, check out some of the anatomy here. We'll swing it around to the back. So for a comic Thanos, I think it's done really, really well. Here's the gauntlet, and as you guys know, it was more of a glove, not an armor in the comics, so I think that's pretty accurate. Nice shine to it in certain lights, and certain lights it doesn't have that. Then here's his portrait. The big issue about the portrait for me is the teeth. Not a fan of that. I think that could have been done much better. However, I think his face, very comic accurate. Again, the outfit looks great. His portrait is probably one of the weaker parts of this statue. But I think when you step back, it flows really well. The evil menace on his face, I think, is fantastic. So I like the expression. The eyes would have been cool if they lit up. So some things on this I think that are very average, and then some things that I think are just like, wow, that is such a cool, phenomenal detail. All right, so in review, portrait, Thanos's, I'm not a huge fan of. The teeth definitely are an issue. The base, I think there could have been a little bit better color, especially on the side here, and Lady Death's portrait. So I think the portraits are a miss. So I think that's more paint related. So I think the paint is a 3 out of 5. Sculpt, I will give a little bit better, especially all that detail we looked at, the print, his suit. I think the sculpt's a 4 out of 5. The paint is what really makes the portraits a miss, in my opinion. Now, value on this. They only made 29 of this, and they do have more available. They retailed for $1,300. Now, if you're interested, go ahead and email me, mrx@theextremechannel.com. I don't get anything for that. Just helping out the commissioner move the last few pieces. So go ahead and email me, and I will give him your information, and he will reach out to you. Again, mrx@theextremechannel.com, $1,300 retail. Is that a good value, though? Well, you do get 2 characters. That's nice. They're 1/4 scale. That's a lot, but you do get 2 characters with it. There are only 29 of these, and like I said, this tells a story like no other Thanos. Now, I think the new XM Thanos set is coming out also has an amazing base, but it's a lot bigger. It's 1/3 scale, and 1/4 scale is more of a Marvel collection. Most collectors are into the 1/4 scale. So that's why I would lean to this. Plus, I don't think we know a price on that yet. So I think the value's fine. It's a 3 out of 5. I think if the edition size was higher, it may be even lower, but 29 is a pretty good edition size, and there's a lot of cool display options. Now, does this have the X factor? Is this a 5 out of 5 statue? I don't think it is. I think that, like I said, there's a little bit of miss on a few things, but the rest of it is fantastic. I wonder what this is going to look like paired with like Silver Surfer pieces, so I'll have to check that out. But I think overall it's a solid 4 out of 5. Maybe a little bit of a weaker 4 out of 5, but it is a very cool statue. Like I said, the concept is amazing, and I think a lot of people miss out on that. Cool different switch outs, and it just tells such a cool story, especially if you're a Thanos or a Marvel Cosmic Power fan. So 4 out of 5 is my final grade on this guy. What do you guys think? There's lots of great Thanos statues out there. I do think that the current Thanos statues I have, I do like a lot of them better than this. I do like XM better because while I'm a big fan of the comics, I just love the realistic take they did with him. Of course, nowadays that's about $2,000, so this one's a much better deal. And it doesn't take up as much space, which is really nice. Throw down in the comments what you think. I read every comment, and you could also win a statue. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Please hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. Helps me a ton. Also, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, you like stuff like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel while you check out some of these other vids. That's short for video.